Hi everybody, my name is Irina and I've been living in Jamaica for almost 7 years. I have already made a few videos covering the cost of living in Jamaica, and one of them gained over 500,000 views. Thank you. It was about supermarket prices that people thought were crazy high and kept asking questions. How do locals manage to survive? So with today's video, we're going to share how to live in Jamaica on a tight budget of only $100 per month on groceries. Here's a table of goods that can last me for the whole month in Jamaica, including food, drinks, and supplies. I have a budget of only $100, which is equivalent of 14,200 Jamaican dollars. So let's see how much of this stuff I can get before I run out of this money. And we're going to start with essential foods.
So the first thing you're going to need are the essentials. That would be oil, because you'll need to cook on something. And I bought a bottle of this vegetable oil. It's 400 Jamaican dollars. So this bottle of oil for just one person cooking can last up to 2 months. Well, it depends obviously how much you cook. The other essentials you would want to buy in Jamaica would be rice. White rice is the cheapest. It comes in these 5-pound bags like this. So if you're going to eat rice for 20 days out of 30 per month, this bag's going to last you for 1 month for one person easily. Now you can choose parboiled rice instead, a huge bag like this, and that can last you for 1 month as well. Sure, you can buy your eggs at a supermarket, but I buy eggs on a marketplace, and then they go like this. You just buy 30 eggs and they're like $7.50. Sometimes you would be using eggs to cook something, sometimes you would be just frying eggs, so it depends how you want to use them. The other thing you need is flour. Flour is quite cheap when it's sold like this in bags. You can buy it in meat marts and in supermarkets. Now you have cornmeal, that's another cheap stuff you can buy. So these are your essentials that you can use and cook with them. Now if you want to cook Jamaican rice, you're going to use these red beans, or as they're known here, red peas. You will need your baking powder and some salt, some spices, and sugar. So these are the most important ones. It is known that Jamaicans have this national dish for breakfast, which is ackee and saltfish. However, in reality, not many people cook ackee and saltfish for breakfast because it's not cheap, because saltfish is very expensive. I've seen people buy cornmeal for breakfast, right? So you can cook that. Or they would cook oatmeal. It's called peanut oatmeal. Since I'm Ukrainian, I can also cook oatmeal the Ukrainian way, so that's kind of works out cheap. You know what's the crazy thing is? This oatmeal is made in Jamaica. This one is a product of Canada. And guess what? This one twice cheaper than made in Jamaica oat.
Before we move on to fruits and veg, I need to mention a few important points. There are different parishes in Jamaica, just like, different states in the US. A lot of goods are grown in St. Elizabeth Parish in the south. So naturally, prices there would be a fraction of what we have to pay in St. James or Trelawney. So the tip here would be, if you want cheaper life in Jamaica, live further from the coast and further from the areas involved in tourism. It's obvious, but people think because Jamaica is just one island, prices should be the same everywhere. No. The other thing to take into account is how big the market is, and I'm talking about market as in demand and supply. If I buy yam in Trelawney, and this is where yam comes from, I pay 150 Jamaican dollars a pound. Whereas in Coronation Market in Kingston, the very same yam from Trelawney might cost only 50 a pound. So when people write things like, oh, they're just overcharging you at the marketplace because you're a foreigner, it can theoretically happen, but not my case, and I will talk about it in a separate episode. It's all because of different locations in Jamaica. And the last important thing is seasons. Jamaica is a tropical island, and people assume that because it's summer all year round, we should have all fruits and vegetables available all the time and really cheap. And then they see imported onions. Things take time to grow, and they have their seasons. So what should a market or a supermarket do if local farmers don't have any onions yet? Put a sign, out of season? Too bad, guys, use garlic instead. No, they're going to just import the goods. And you still need to get it because you can't cook without onions, for example. However, if you really want to save up on food, you obviously have to plan your menu depending on a season. Now, let's get back to the table of goods.
The other thing, of course, the vegetables. For vegetables, most people say go to a local market. And in most cases it is true, but certain things at certain times of the year can actually be cheaper at a supermarket. So this was 68 per pound in a supermarket right now, because now it's season for tomatoes in Jamaica, and it was $100 a pound at a marketplace. 5 garlic is 100, and it would be the same price for the marketplace and a supermarket. However, yam and sweet potato were cheaper at a marketplace, so I got them there. Scallions and thyme were cheaper at the marketplace. Now, I have the pumpkin for pumpkin soup. You can get other things in Jamaica that are very cheap. So this would be kalaloo and green beans. So these are the things to go for. And I will give you a list of all the things I have here on the table so that you can see the prices for them. I personally like steamed vegetables. So I make green beans, okra, and I add a little bit of Jamaican Scotch bonnet pepper, and then you have and garlic, and then I mix it all together. I also buy sweet potatoes, so I have 3 of them, and that's enough because mostly I would be using rice and cornmeal. With plantain, I would fry them, and they're really tasty. You can fry them with salt or make them sweet. Green bananas can be used for breakfast. You boil them. I use a lot of flour for dumpling and for things like that. I normally get my potatoes at the marketplace. You don't get so-called Irish potato in Jamaica all year round. So there are certain times of the year when you can get Irish potatoes, but on other times of the year is not a season for it, so it gets imported, and of course the prices are very different.
I had a question from a subscriber. What prevents me from having the same cost of living as a Jamaican? Is it because I have to live in some special area, or is that because I'm a foreigner, I will be overcharged? No, this is because of completely different factors.
When you come to a country that has completely different climate than your home country, it's not that easy to get adjusted to understand what kind of goods to buy, when to buy these goods, and so on. If you look at the table, you will notice that there are hardly any dairy products. In fact, I only have this one. It's condensed milk, and that's about it. And that's because obviously dairy is quite expensive in Jamaica.
If you want to save up on food, you cannot be eating pizzas, cereal, or sandwiches, right? Instead, the wise thing to do is to eat Jamaican cuisine. It's fantastic, but if you're a foreigner, do you know how to cook Jamaican food? Do you even know what Jamaican food is? Or just bake breadfruit, it's cheap. What? Breadfruit? What is it? Like bread growing on trees? What is it? I made a video on 10 reasons why I chose Jamaica, and some people were surprised I didn't mention food. Well, this is because Ukrainians don't know anything about Jamaican food. What's ackee? Bami? Festival? We don't even know about jet food concept. So food in Jamaica was a completely new thing to me, but a very pleasant surprise.
When I saw this for the first time, I thought it was potato. It's actually nesberry. It's a fruit, and it's really sweet. Of course, it takes time to get used to different fruits and veggies, especially if you're from a country like me, like Ukraine. We just don't have them there.
This is one of the main reasons why locals can get by much cheaper than foreigners. They know what to cook, how to cook it, and what's more, they will go for fruits and veg that are in season. Why would they buy ackee now when they know that it's going to be much cheaper at the end of the month? Whereas you, as a foreigner, would have no idea whether you have to wait for it or buy now or what's happening. So it does take a few years and a lot of observation before you can get properly adapted to a local lifestyle. It's relevant not only to Jamaica, by the way, it's a relocation to any country would have a similar situation, especially if you come from a completely different climate, culture, and everything.
When people look at the prices of meats in Jamaica and they go like, oh, chicken costs so much. Well, what part of chicken? Because it really depends. Like drumsticks have a price of $7.55 a kilogram. Chicken back is going to be the cheapest. Well, one of the cheapest. And then chicken mixed parts, that's what people go for. Then we get cow foot is also not too expensive. So this can be used for soups and for stew. Turkey neck. This is something common as well in Jamaica. So the other cheapest one, chicken feet. These ones. You can get them in Meat Mart as well, and they would be even cheaper there, and they're sold in bags like that. And you can use them for soup. Chicken gizzard or gizzard, I'm not sure, not a native English speaker, so sorry about that. There were none in Meat Mart when I went to get for this video, and so I had to get them in the supermarket. The thing that I find not very common in Jamaica among the locals, like I don't see any dishes with that, but me as Ukrainian would cook that, is liver. And it's an imported product from USA. But guys, do you know how much it costs? And these three can give me literally like 4 meals. I didn't see any liver today in Meat Mart, but it should probably have similar prices. So these are the meats. If you want to treat yourself and you want something sweet, I would just have tea with condensed milk. As you see, there is no coffee on this table, and this is because coffee is really expensive. So you wouldn't want to drink it unless you get this instant coffee drink, which is not really coffee. So that's why I drink tea, by the way. And this is the cheapest tea you can get, is Tetley tea. And there are 20 bags, but you know how people drink tea, right? So you put a bag, you put it in, right? Then you don't throw it away, you keep it, right? And then you use it once again. So there are 20 bags that can last me 40 tea cups. The other thing, you don't see any juices or anything like that. It's because, again, they're very expensive, so you don't buy juices. Instead, you can make juices yourself if somebody gives you fruits, because if you just buy fruits, that's not going to be cheap. And the other thing you might not see here is bread. And this is because bread is not the cheapest thing either. Instead of bread, you can just make your own bread with cornmeal. That's what you can, and flour. You just bake it yourself. The other thing, if you want to go for sweet things, go for Jamaican desserts, like tamarind balls, like raisin bread like this, or coconut bread. It depends what kind of things you would find really nice for yourself, but that's the stuff to go for. If you really want to make sure you get the cheapest possible stuff, first go to Meat Mart, because in 99.9% of cases, Meat Mart is going to be cheaper for everything. Like even these things, buy them in Meat Mart because they are like at least 20% cheaper than in supermarkets.
However, this is not the case for everything. The reason why some locals think that a supermarket is more expensive is because it quotes prices per kilogram, while a marketplace or Meat Mart always have prices per pound. And people just don't do the math. They see a pumpkin in a supermarket, $295 per kilogram. That's expensive. A marketplace is only $150 a pound. But guys, $295 per kilogram is actually $134 a pound. It's cheaper in a supermarket, at least in Montego Bay. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to promote supermarkets, I'm just stating the facts. We're talking about saving up money, and in this case, you need to explore all the options available, do the maths, and then see what works best in the area where you live.
Now, the other thing you will need for your month of life is obviously the stuff that you're going to use for sure. Soap bar, one soap bar is going to be enough for 1 month for me. Then this is the toothpaste that I buy because it's the cheapest you can get. Depending on how you want to wash your clothes, you can either use a soap bar for laundry. It's called laundry soap. Washing powder. Up to you. You can use the soap, you can use washing powder. But this washing powder is the cheapest you can get. Well, at least the cheapest I could find in a supermarket right now in Montego Bay. Dishwashing liquid, you can save up on that and actually use baking powder and wash your dishes with baking powder because it's gonna, get everything off. But this one can last me 2 months really, so, Now you would need at least one sponge so that you can wash your dishes, some shampoo. I need shampoo, but this bottle, because of my hair texture, can last me for like 5 months at least because I don't need to wash my hair more often than once a week, so that's good. Toilet paper, let's say 1 roll per week, depends, yeah, so 4 rolls for 1 month. And then if you're ladies, these are the Confidence Ultra Thin Ladies Pads. And they're obviously cheaper than Always. Now, Always obviously much better quality, but up to you. And you will need 1 pack per month, and this is your monthly expenses if you're a woman. Sorry. These garbage bags are not cheap. Before plastic bags were banned in Jamaica, you could use the so-called scandal bag in Jamaica as a form of a garbage bag, so you didn't have to buy these. Now, no more plastic bags, which is a great thing, but now you have to buy garbage bags, otherwise where are you gonna throw away your trash? Alternative options, boxes, if you can get boxes from a supermarket, so you can save up on these.
Okay, time to sum up. How much money have I spent? The essential goods, $29.14 US. Fruits and veg, almost 32. Meats, $25 US. Sweets and tea managed under 5, because apart from tea, I drink tap water. Non-food supplies under $10 US. So the total is $99.90 US. That's right. Less than 100 US for everything you see on this table. Does it mean that Jamaica is not that expensive after all? Guys, locals sometimes can spend even less than that, especially if they have their own garden, chickens, goats and eggs, and they don't even buy fruits and veg and things to start with. Like, I didn't have any fish on the list, but you can do spear fishing and get it for free, provided you have a license, of course, because if you're a foreigner and you don't have a license, you can get in trouble. So the point of this video is to answer the question, how do locals manage to survive with these high supermarket prices? Well, because they buy stuff that is cheap, that is in season, and they know what to do with it.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you want more videos about Jamaica. My name is Irina, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.